That is where you also served, and you were part of the NATO forces when the withdrawal took place in 2021. And now President Trump is saying that it was a hasty thing to do, it was clumsily done, and President Joe Biden should have done the way it was done, and all that. And they want Bagram Air Base back. What do you know about Bagram Air Base and its importance, because you have been there?
At that time, Bagram and Kandahar, these were the big airports in the region. And we can imagine that's like an aircraft carrier, but on solid soil, meaning that when you have a base there, then you have shorter distance to your neighbors when there is a conflict. Let's look at China. China is not too far away. That was always what I was told by the Afghans, that they say you want to keep both air bases. Well, now after the hasty, let's say, when they left the bases, at the moment, well, then it was gone. But we see that, and I read it also, that now they want to get back Bagram. But the Taliban, they said, no, we don't want that. So it will be interesting to see who is, let's say, has more influence. If the Americans can convince the Taliban with whatever to get Bagram back or not. But I was really surprised to say why this discussion comes up again. But from a point of regional stability, regional influence, it makes sense,
Okay, let's expand on how it is making sense, because now the Russians are talking about Eurasian bloc. They have recognized the Taliban government, and all of a sudden, the Americans realized, oh, we shouldn't have left Bagram. We want it back. We invested a lot of money there. It's a very good complex and all that. You know that story. So, given the background, Bagram Air Base is surrounded by Pakistan, Central Asia, China, of course, Afghanistan. That is where it is, and Iran. So it is a good place to sit where you can operate the entire region. Is that the importance of it, or there is something that I'm missing?
No, I think so. What you rightly said, it's always when you have a representation there, and you have an airfield, you can have installations there, and even if it's a stopover to other areas, that is the charm of an airfield, like we had it. I think it was in Turkmenistan, or where the Americans also were busy having this. So, that basically says, okay, you show your presence, but it depends on the whole global issue interest, and say, okay, are we present there or not? And I understand that China will oppose this. They will not be happy again. Of course, the Taliban, for sure. But let's say, look at the big picture. The Russians, well, also not happy. So it's always saying, when you have a base in the surrounding of countries that might be, you have a big problem there, that's not very well appreciated.
So if they really want it back, what is the way of doing it? Are they going to land their troops there, or they are going to negotiate with the Taliban government? How can this happen, or is there any other method which is still invisible from the common eye?
Well, now I look into the glass in order to make an interpretation. Of course, what can they do? They can land. They can take it by violence. It's not wise to do that, I'm sure. But therefore, probably they have their embassy there, and they will negotiate with the Taliban, and they have to come to a conclusion, because, as we remember, the Taliban negotiated with the US in Qatar. So and after that, they came in and took over Afghanistan. So there must be some kind of deal they have to find out, and even if they stay strong, the Taliban say, no, we don't want that, and we are independent Islamic State of Afghanistan. Well, what can happen? And then you have the other nations. Russia will, because when they have close relations to Taliban, so will they come in order to support the Taliban when the Americans come in?
No, it
I
was
don't think.
TRT World just yesterday, Peter. It was just yesterday, 26th of September. TRT World, it is reporting China, Russia, Iran, Pakistan oppose military bases in Afghanistan as Trump seeks Bagram return, which means the kind of speculation that was going on in Pakistan that the Americans might want Pakistan to do the job for them, that is out. Pakistan and China, Russia, Iran, they've all opposed the idea. So we are not in for it.
As I said, I don't see that, honestly, because this is an area, yes, it's important as always, but it's not that important anymore, from my point of view. The main obstacles are, let's say now, the Europe area to solve the Ukrainian-Russian problem. Another area is the Arctic, the North. That is a very important dynamic. And of course, we have the Far East. Which is of global interest. Let's say, as I said, Afghanistan, from my point of view, well, it would be really to go back again, to have again all these troubles. Well, there must be.
You don't want to go there again. No.
Sorry?
You don't want to go there again. No.
Yes. If I would meet friends, yes. If I would meet friends.
As friends, yes. But
I don't mind. But to be honest, the Taliban is not what I like to meet, because what we witnessed at that time, and they are not. I don't know if they are good for the society, but it's up to the Afghan people to decide whether they have to deal with the Taliban or not. You know, it's, yeah.
Okay, it's their business entirely, and that's how it should be. If they want to have that government, so let them have the way they want it.
Exactly.
I think that's the best way out, and let them evolve out of it if they can, or if they really want to. Because the world has tried everything else, and see where we are. So,
absolutely. And therefore, Germany, now I talk for Germany, we have invested a lot. We have done a lot of support for the Afghans in the time we are deployed. And there's a little bit, or not, there's a big frustration that all the efforts we have done for the society in order to establish a peaceful society, not that we didn't say you have to take over our values, but we supported you in order to run your own system. And then we saw this is crumbled in dust. And therefore, in Germany, I don't see that anybody is willing to invest anything in Afghanistan. We have to deal with the Afghan ourselves, because a lot of Afghan people coming to Germany. Also, I'm sorry to say, also from Pakistan, because they are located there and they are waiting for a flight to Germany.
We have a very interesting neighborhood, Peter. We can't. We have no option. We can't change it.
I know. But I talk from the German point of view. That's not your fault. It's not an issue for Pakistan. But I say that what we see, that a lot of Afghans still come to Germany, and I don't know what shall they do here. It's not their country, you know.
That's true. Okay, talking of the neighborhood, let me take the opportunity of using the European lens to look at the India-Pakistan military engagement in May. How did it look from where you are sitting?
Well, when I heard this, I was surprised. Why? Because it erupted very quickly. It went on a military scale I never expected. And the results was quite surprising. So your country says, okay, you claim we shot down the Rafales from the Indians. The Indians, they deny it. So everybody's using their information or to tell the others what he didn't achieve and so on. That was quite interesting. But nevertheless, what I heard from sources, they really, Pakistani aircrafts really succeeded in shoot down some of the European aircrafts. And that makes some scratching the head here in our countries, saying, how was this possible? And therefore, I don't know, there will be consequences for sure. in France. They are constructing, they're building the Rafale. I'm sure they analyze it very deeply. And that's it, you know. Unfortunately, it didn't escalate because both countries. Fortunately, both countries. Maybe I don't. You have your own view on your mentality.
No, I want your view. I don't want to.
No. My view is first of all, I was happy that it didn't escalate, because it can be easily escalate into a dimension we didn't want, right? So, and that's the point. Therefore, I'm happy for both of you that this conflict was at least military settled. The conflict itself, the source of the conflict, is not settled. That is a long enduring process between Pakistan and India to handle this. But to erupt in a military campaign, we see what happens.